What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new edition of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales with yours truly, Uncle Doug's in the hot seat. As always, thank you to everyone that's been watching all of the episodes and liking and commenting, and all the subscribers, all the new subscribers. Welcome aboard. If you haven't subscribed yet, then I don't know why you haven't, but please do. It helps. Do you know what it does? The likes, comments, and subscribes, they just help to spread it out to an audience outside of my normal catchment. And the more people we get in, the more people can comment, and the more they comment, the more we piece the puzzle together, blah, blah, blah. So today's episode, we're going to take you back to 2007, 2008 for me. But the event I'm talking about, which is Innovation in the Sun in Llorett De Mar. Actually started before that. I'm not sure what year it started, but the brief history is it started a few years before 2007. Originally Mickey Finn and Lloyd, known as Lloyd Innovation to most of us, they ran it together, and then they separated, and Lloyd ended up running it on his own up until when it finished a few years ago. So 2007, 2008 is when I first went to it. I went there as a raver. I'd been on call for a little while. I joined there January 2006. So by 2007, I'd kind of started getting myself about a bit and getting the odd gig here and there. I didn't play in 07 and 08, but I did go out there to have a rave up. And before we get into the stories of the actual sort of holiday bits that I'm going to tell you about, I will say big up Innovation in the Sun. From what I remember, I don't want to say they were the first rave holiday ever, because they wasn't, and I don't want to say they was the only one, because they. But for our little world of jungle drum and bass, what I remember is when I come on to call, Innovation in the Sun and Innovation in the Dam, which come around about that kind of time, they were a big deal for ravers to rave at, because that was where everybody went from across the country. There wasn't different holidays for different parts of the scene. You went Innovation in the Sun, or you didn't go to a drum and bass holiday. And for the artists as well. So a lot of them would come out there and they would play, but they would stay. And I think it was just a bit of a, I don't want to say a novelty thing for all of us, but, you know, Garage had Iron Apple, but Iron Apple was different promoters, Sun City and Pure Silk and Twice as Nice and this one and that one. Innovation in the Sun was the first that I remember of from our world. Again, I stand to be corrected, because I know it'd be in the comments like, no, Doug, there was this thing happened the year before. But I just know that they took a few thousand people out to Llorett De Mar in Spain. And it was wicked. I ain't gonna lie. Like the first year I went there, 2007, like I say, I went as a raver. I was DJing on call, trying to get my way in, but I wasn't booked and I wasn't there to work. So I went there as a raver to have fun. And I went with my pals. I was with Tom and Mogs and Johnny Khan, and there was about half a dozen of us, I think. Evil B might have been with us that year. I don't know. Can't remember, but there was a few of us. And yeah, we got there the first year, and I didn't know what to expect. Like I say, I'd never really been to a rave holiday before. So we pulled up at the airport, jumped in a cab. I think we had a villa the first year, if I remember correctly. But we goes into town, and the club was called Colossus, and they used the same club 5 nights on the trot. There was no other club, which I think was a little bit of its downfall in the end, but we'll get to that towards the end. But yeah, the club was Colossus. It was a good club. I'll explain that in a minute. And the local beach in Llorett De Mar was affectionately known as Cat Litter Beach, because it wasn't sand, it was like kind of cat litter stuff. But nonetheless, listen, we had a great time, all of us, and it was good time. So yeah, the club. You walked into the club, there was a bar attached to it on one side, which they'd have pre-parties and bits and bobs like that in now and again. But the main club, Colossus, you would walk in and then you go through a sort of courtyardy bit, outdoor, if I remember correctly, before you went up and into the club, and room 2 was upstairs and all of that. And in that courtyard, I won't mention names, but there was a lot of activity in that courtyard. Yeah, activity. We'll just leave it at that, yeah, because I don't want to incriminate anyone. Someone did actually end up going to prison out there. It's not my story to tell, but someone did actually get caught doing some activity out there. A couple of them, actually. and went to prison. But that's not my story to tell, so I won't tell that. But you know, there was a lot going on in that courtyard, trust me, and that was where everyone was knocking about a lot of the time. You know, that was where the fun was to be had. Truth be told, even that was all popping off in the club, and the club was ram. 07, 08, it was ram in there. So yeah, we've gone in the club every night. You know, I'm trying to get into the scene, and so I'm linking up with artists that I've you know, heard of, known of, looked up to, or whatever, because they're all out there. And it's a different thing when you're on holiday. It's not like bumping into someone in a nightclub. When you're sitting down the beach, or you know, you're around the pool, or just even walking down the road in the kebab shop, whatever. It's a different vibe, and a lot of links and bonds are made on those type of holidays, still to this day. So yeah, 07 was great. I just remember enjoying myself a lot and having a good time with the lads. But one of the stories that I remember the most from that particular year, I'm really going to try and find a video clip of what I'm going to tell you about now. I remember it looking mad on the camera when I looked back at it. I'm hoping it ain't a letdown, but I'm going to try and find it. And if I do, I'll put it right at the end of the video. So basically, it was the last night and it was the last hour. I want to take a minute quickly to big up Skibbity, yeah? R.I.P., my brother, R.I.P. Skibber was the king of innovation in the sun, yeah? No one even come close. He would come on the first day, he would be there till the last day, he'd be on every set, all night, every night. No one ever got bored with him. This is the thing, he was the king out there. When he come on and done a da-da-da-da-da-da, or a hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, bruv, the place would lift off. I'm telling you, 5 nights. I don't think they did boat parties in the early days. I think they might have added them on, and the phone party and all that kind of turnout. They didn't do all that. It was just club nights from what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but Skibber was the king. I definitely ain't wrong about that. He was the king of innovation, trust me. So yeah, it's the last night, the last hour, the last tune of the night, right? I forget who was DJing. It might have been Friction. Can't remember. I know the Ragga Twins was on the stage. I know Skibber was on the stage. And there's a bag of people on the stage, because basically the last tune, you know, like I say, the lights had come on and all the crowd have started to get up to the stage. So them times there, I used to walk around with a Sony Handycam. Kind of, I got loads of video footage from them days, loads of stuff with going out with Evil B and DJing for him in the early days before he was really too famous, and before my thing took off as well, to be fair. But loads of stuff from that. I will get it all up bit by bit by bit for you to all watch and enjoy. But yeah, I used to roll around with this Sony Handycam video camera everywhere, recorded everything. And it's the last bit of the night. So I'm up on the stage and I'm recording the Ragga Twins, and I'm just recording a bit of the crowd, and the lights are on, and blah, blah, blah. And when I've watched it back after, obviously I can piece it together. But at the time when this was happening, I didn't actually know what was going to happen was happening. So I'm panning round. And when you watch the thing, from what I remember, you can see this guy, he's at the back of the club. And then you kind of go, on the Ragga Twins, this one, hey, look at him having a good time. Back, he's kind of halfway. Back again, bit of this, bit of that. There, he's right by the stage. And then he kind of climbed through the metal bars. There was metal barriers, like wrestling ropes, but metal around the stage. He's just come on the stage and tried to, like, I've got the strap around my hand, isn't it? He's trying to mug me on the stage for my camera while I'm filming, yeah? So I'm having a fight with him on the stage, and it must have looked like we was dancing or something, because it wasn't like a proper fight. But I give him a left-hander because I only had my left hand free. Luckily, I didn't have a broken shoulder at the time. But I did give him a left-hander. But the camera footage is all up, down, you know, sky floor, and you can probably hear. I mean, again, I ain't watched it for a long time, but in my memory, I think it looks pretty mad. You know, you'll see at the end if I find it. But yeah, and as quick as he was gone again, and he scooted back off into the crowd, and I'm kind of looking around, I'm like, no fucking way has that just happened. Like, yeah, and when I watched it back afterwards, someone that I knew at the time knew who he and his friends were. They were from up north, yeah, and they was all a bit of an handful. But yeah, when I showed it to him and he clocked who it was, I could then backtrack it to them being at the back and see him at the back. So yeah, again, if I can find a clip, I'm going to whack it up for you to see. It's quite funny, actually. But so that was 07. It was great. It was my introduction to rave holidays. Like, I'd been Napa a few times over the years, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. We wasn't all in one place and there for one reason. We was there for garage music. We was there at drum and bass innovation for innovation. So yeah, fast forward a year. I'm now a little bit more established. I didn't actually play in '08. I didn't play there till a little bit later down the line, to be fair. But by '08, I'm kind of like, I ain't got to buy a ticket that year. You know what I mean? I'm sort of semi on the firm, but not fully. And this was the year that innovation will always be very dear to my heart. You know, me and Lloyd ended up having our ups and downs in the end, which I'll touch on towards the end of this. But it will always have a dear place in my heart because I met my wife at Innovation in the Sun, who was to be my wife. Obviously, she weren't my wife when I met her. That would have been weird. Yeah, 2008. So basically, I land with my mates on a lad's holiday. I was actually going to Iron Apple the following week, and there's a funny story about getting nicked in Iron Apple that I'll tell you a lot about with Evil B and a couple of my mates. But we'll tell that one another day. For now, we're in Llorett De Mar. Well, we landed at Girona Airport, which, for those of you that don't know, it's like a subsidiary airport of Barcelona, much like City Airport is to Heathrow, Girona is to Barcelona. So it's out of the way a little bit. But the cheap flights go there, isn't it? So it's perfect. Anyway, we land, got our cases, go out, we're going to get a cab. I think there was 4 of us that year that went there, or 5 of us. Anyway, it was enough for us to get in one cab with the cases. So the matey says to us, put your cases around the back of the cab, I'll throw them in, get in a taxi. So we all get in a taxi, all the cases are together at the back of the cab. We get to the place we're staying. I can't remember if we was in a hotel or a villa that year. It's not important, but we get there. But I know that we're 50 euros away. I know that, yeah. Pull up there, gets the cases out of the back. I'm like, mate, where's my case? He's like, this was all the cases. I said, bruv, it wasn't. My case was with all of the cases. I put it with everyone and got in. No, it weren't. I said, and I'm thinking, I can't go mad because we're at where we were staying was like out of the way a little bit, and we just got there, and I don't know how easy it is to get a cab. So I'm like, look, mate, it don't matter. Can I just go back to the thing? So he stung me for another 50 flipping euros, took me back to Girona Airport. None of my mates come with me. Let me just add that, yeah. Mates, who needs enemies? They all thought it was hilarious. I'll tell you what was the killer and all. Not just for all of my clothes in there, like all I had on was what I was wearing. My weed and that was in there. Yeah, anything that I'd bought with me at that time, it would have been just well, any time it would have been. But at the time, I would have took it in my case stupidly. That's what I'm saying. And I had, I think it was half ounce of bud in there in my case. So there was that as well as losing my clothes. So goes back to the airport. And now it's a Friday afternoon. We was only out there for the weekend. The rave went on for more than that, but we only landed on the Friday afternoon. So now it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I get back to the airport. I get out of the cab. I go psycho at the cab driver because he's lost my thing. And now I'm back at the airport. I think, yeah, you're safe here. So I tell him he's every name under the sun, useless, whatever. And then I go back into the airport and I'm looking around everywhere, as you can imagine, frantically. I can't see my case. I don't know where to go. I'm asking people, have you seen a grey case? Blah, no, sorry, mate. Go over to where I'm told where the lost and found is. When I go over, there's a desk like this, and on the desk is a piece of sellotape paper saying, closed for the weekend. All inquiries go to Barcelona main airport, and then a Spanish phone number. Mate, my heart sunk because, like, not only had I lost my clothes and, like, I'm here with the lads, and now the first thing, all I've got on is what I'm wearing. I've then got to go and buy clothes the next morning. I ain't even got the dough to buy clothes the next morning back then. Do you know what I mean? Truth be told, but also, my green is in my case. If my case goes to Barcelona main airport and they start looking through to see if they can find out whose case it is and whatnot, then I'm going to go and pick my case up and get nicked. And, you know, green weren't legal in Spain at that time. It was all a little bit of a hullabaloo. So all of these things are going through my head. I'm thinking, shit. What do I do? Do I just go home? Do I just book a flight now and go? Mate, as I turned round, yeah, my case was no lie. It was 2 foot behind me. Nobody there. No one's. It wasn't there before that, obviously, because I'd walked over there. While I'm having a stress out, either divine intervention or someone walking through the airport has found my case, took it over to what they have been told is the lost and found, and obviously it's closed, so they've just left it there. It was there with its handle up. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. It was like the angels were singing through the clouds to me, you know, hallelujah. It was there in all its glory, untouched, unscathed, everything inside it. So I just picked it up, bopped off, gone back out to the thing. By now, about I would say 15, 20, not loads of time, but maybe 20 minutes has passed. I've had 400 cardiac arrests in the meantime, but now I'm nice again, you know what I mean? So I'm Jack the Lad and I, cocky bollocks. So I goes back out and I go to get a cab. The geezer that I've had a go at, they're waiting for the next plane to come in, innit? So he's out there talking to all his mates smoking. I've got to ask for a taxi. They're like, no. He's saying to him, no, he's called me this, that, and the other, aggressive, blah, blah, blah. I can't get a cab, right? So I goes back in the airport, buy a box of cigarettes, and waited for them lot to go. Then the next plane has come in. I'm outside. I ain't got a light. I've just got cigarettes. So I thought, I ain't fucking queuing up. I'm on my own. I've had a long enough day as it is. So I walked right to the front of the queue of the cab thing, and there was two girls at the front of the queue. And I said to them, have you got a light, please? They give me a light. And one of them I really like the look of. That was Sarah. And she was with her mate, and they were on their way to Innovation in the Sun. So I'm standing there just giving it all a chat, telling them what's happened. I'd say, well, yeah, I'll see you later and all that, blah, blah. I'll jump in a cab with you if that's all right. Cocky bollocks. Another cab. I already fancied it. Let me just get that there for the start of this year. But because I'm fucking cocky, I was even worse when I was single. A taxi has pulled in and there was another 4 girls waiting for a cab. And they've jumped in the cab, but before they've jumped in, I shouted, you going to Llorett De Mar? And they were like, yeah. I was like, can I jump in with you? And I was like, yeah. So I said to Sarah, and I'm like, well, I'll see you later. And when I got in the cab, I just sort of left them standing there, which I didn't really mean it to be a cocky move. But obviously now she's my wife and we've been together almost, 20 odd, 17 years. So it's kind of looking back on it, it was a cocky move, but I didn't know the future would pan out how it did. Anyway, I did say to her though, I would see you later, and I've gone and seen my mates, got me weed out, had a joint, calm down, get ready. We go out the first night, and then the first place we went to was a gaff called Homer's Bar, which was like, it weren't official, but it was like a meet-up pre-party type thing before the club at Colossus, the innovation thing. And when I got there, Sarah was sitting outside with some of her friends on a bench. One of my mates was sitting next to her trying to chat her up, and I just kind of moved in between them and kind of shifted him off the end, and then just got talking to her. And then from then, that was it. She was just coming out of a relationship. This was in the June. We never got together till the October, but I already fell for her. I was trying to tell her that I didn't care. I was a single man and all that, giving it a big one. But the truth is, I'd already fell for her. So I said to her, when you've sorted your thing out at home, if it doesn't ever work out, I'm about. And then obviously we got together, and the rest is history. Here we are, 17 years together, happily married. I love her more now than ever, and I'm very lucky. But it all started, at Llorett De Mar, Girona Airport, Cat Litter Beach, and all of that. So it will always hold a dear place in my heart. So anyway, back to the actual rave, 2008. Big up Fantasy as well, and Ollie and Rob, Mr. Nice, and all the crew that were behind the scene of innovation, because it wasn't all Lloyd. In fact, it wasn't much Lloyd, if we were going to be honest. The Fantasy and Ollie were running around like blue ass flies out there, but the whole team made it work great. But I have to give them their props as well, if we're going to talk about innovation in the sun. So yeah, they were great. 07, 08 as raves, as a raver, they were great. I got nothing but good memories. Even the geezer trying to nick my camera. Then I got with Sarah and my career started to take off, and I think I've played the first time there in 2010 maybe, and then I did it a few years on the trot, and then I didn't really fall out with Lloyd. I was collateral damage to a situation that arose to do with Lloyd and someone else, and I just kind of was, a lot of us got drawn in on it, and it was like, are you this or you that? And it should never have really been that, but the ultimatum was kind of given. And that was the Innovation in the Something. I never went out there and played for them or Innovation in the Dam again after that. And then it kind of fizzled out anyway. But what I will say is, love Lloyd or hate Lloyd, whatever, you have to give him props. And Mickey in the first place, but Lloyd carried it through for a long time on his own. You have to give them and him props. And Odette, which was Lloyd's missus, who run the business with him, for doing what they did. Like, they really did fly the flag for drum and bass in a European and a worldwide way, because people would come from around the world to go to Innovation in the Sun, because like I said earlier on, it was the only real thing that we had that kind of bonded us all together in one place at one time. So I have to big up Lloyd. I have to big up the Innovation in the Sun crew from start to when it started to fizzle out. I mean, my reasons why I think it fizzled out, maybe in the end, the venue, and even though they tried to modernise it with boat parties and pool parties and phone parties, and you know, using the same venue and the same place year in year out, I think once other rave holidays come up, it gave people choice, an opportunity to go to other places. So I don't think it was necessarily like Innovation's fault so much. I think it was more they gave us something that was so great, inevitably other people will try it, and if you don't stay on your game, other people will come for your crown. And if you ain't really watching what they're up to, they'll take the crown. And now I don't think anyone really has the crown. I think there's just a lot of good rave holidays. I mean, there's a few crap ones and a few that have come and gone, because it's a golden chalice if you get it right, and it's a poison chalice if you get it wrong. It's an expensive thing to get wrong. So yeah, some are better than others, but there is a lot of, you know, whatever music you're into now, and whoever you want to go and see at some point during the year, you can go abroad and watch them, you know, with a lot of people that you know from home. So yeah, I give them the props for really being the trailblazers for that in jungle drum and bass. And like I say, time moves on, nothing lasts forever, and so it goes. It's other people's turns now. It's you know, nothing lasts forever. But yeah, big up the Innovation crew, big up all the crew that worked for Innovation and around, all the other DJs and MCs, you know, when I didn't play there and when I did play there, all the ravers that I met both sides of the DJ booth. Yeah, good times, mate. When I think back now, good times. I met my wife at it, you know what I mean? So how can I ever have anything but love in my heart for it? So yeah, good times. Big up the Innovation crew. And love to use a lot for sticking it out this far. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do. Don't forget, comment underneath. If you went to the Innovation in the Suns, you know, the earlier ones, I mean, Shabba broke his leg in a football match, infamous football match. I think IC3 was running a football match out there before I used to go to them, and I'm pretty sure, you know, there's a bag of stories out there. I've got loads of other stories that I'm probably not even allowed to tell from out there as well. A lot of madness went on out there, but like, they're stories for other people to tell because they're not my direct ones personally. But yeah, shout out to everyone who's been locked in. Thank you very much. We will see you on the next episode. Yeah, peace and love to you all. Yeah, we're out of here.
Shout out to the Innovation crew inside. Want to see you make some noise for the promoter inside? Make some noise! Hey, give him a speech, man. Give him a speech, everybody. Give him a speech.
This year has been fucking wicked. All you guys came out here representing. It's a wicked party. You know what? You guys are wicked. I love every one of you. You know what? Next year's gonna be even better. Because I know all of you don't come back. Are you all coming back next year? I didn't hear that. Are you all coming back next year?
Once again, make some noise for Llorett De Mar inside, man. You know it's impossible. Somebody make some noise. Innovation Barcelona. Skips one more. Now make the speech. Okay. Now, secondly, hey Skips, you want an SAP? Make a speech, everybody. Come across. Been Wixie put out the week. Come across, man. Hey, make some noise for the Skip of that. You know what, fuck the long thing. Yo, Skips, come man. Come man. Fuck the long thing, rude boy.
Let's go, big back.
You say you're like catching more about from that, you know what I mean? Skipping needs to be holding out for a couple of weeks still, see? Yeah? So, Skips, I want to hear some speech squad in the room, boy. Come on. 2 7 voices tear right about now, so boy, we not work, you know? Skip it. Each and every jungle sounds are represented worldwide across the shopping. neatly, quietly, and make sure everything is blessed because we really want to come back next year and make things better. I know how it is, and a couple of scuffles in here tonight, but yo, if there's a madness on the way out, we might even get to run this ever again. Big up the reggae twins inside the place. Soldiers, make some noise for the reggae twins, yeah. Larger. Boop, 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 boop. Remember what I said, don't remember to leave the lady peace and quietly. Don't terrorize the hotel rooms tonight, man. Leave them, yeah? Go out to on the road and nothing. Each and every song. Make some noise, we're out of here. Somebody say, oh no! I see, what blow. Big up the army crew once again. All the real ravers, make some noise!